Hello there, Bogdan Bratis from Saspod here, and today we're gonna talk about something quite interesting and something that you probably haven't thought about doing for your podcast, and that is to get your podcast listed on IMDb. Now, if you haven't been living under a rock, you probably know what IMDb is. If you've been on Amazon Prime, for example, and you watched the movie, you saw actors in there sometimes appearing, and the reason why that happens is because Amazon owns IMDb and has all that information, and what IMDb stands for is the Internet Movie Database. And obviously all the video producers, actors, they are listed on this directory, and I was wondering, why shouldn't podcasts actually get listed here? Because at the end of the day, they are also video producers or audio producers, and they work in the entertainment industry. And you can get listed on IMDb, and I'll show you today how to do it. Now, before I move forward into this video, I must mention you need to have a good podcast. You cannot have a Zoom recording that looks blurry and bad and accept that your IMDb listing will be accepted by IMDb. That's not going to happen. You can fill in all the information from let's say technical point of view. You can add everything in there, but the IMDb listing will be reviewed by humans, right? And they could actually reject your listing because your podcast is not good enough or it doesn't meet certain notability criteria, right? So you want to make sure that you get a quality podcast, not because I say so in each and every video, but also because things like these, they require a good production. So now, why getting listed on IMDb? It's quite obvious, honestly. So first thing first, you can claim your profile. You can claim the profile first, because what IMDb does is if there are two different people with the same name, you will get assigned a numeral on your name. Now, that's not a big issue, but why don't you want to get your profile first, right? So for example, there's nobody on IMDb called with the same name, Bogdan Bratis, so I was able to get my own profile straight away, and it's a unique profile. Now, other people that have a more common name, they may have, for example, there may be like 6-7 people listed in there with the same name, and you're gonna be assigned, let's say Bogdan Bratis third or Bogdan Bratis fourth with a Roman numeral. And it's not a big issue, but I would like to get my profile and to be the first one on anything, right? Because that's how I am. Probably you don't care about that, but the next reasons are more important. So you are on the biggest movie database in the world, right? So if aliens would like to watch a movie, they will probably check this database, and you want to be on that. Once you are there, there are certain SEO benefits to it as well. First thing first, you get a backlink from IMDb. You'll have a chance to add your website in there, and any other links related to your website. You will have a chance to add certain links in there that obviously they go back to your website and they will help your SEO ranking. Another thing is that when you type your name into Google, right, you want to see a great version of yourself on Google, because believe it or not, a lot of people Google other people before they actually start working together, or just to check that person out. Is this guy notable enough, or is this guy doing the right things? Like, I want to see, his LinkedIn page. He's gonna type your name, not in LinkedIn. He will type it in Google, and then they will land on your LinkedIn from there. Once they type your name on Google, they want to see as many things as possible, and we're gonna talk about that in another video. But with IMDb, this is one of the things that you want to claim as a content creator. Doesn't matter what type of content you create, but podcasts are definitely eligible for this listing. Another thing with IMDb is that you can get work through IMDb. So, for example, let's say you've got a few podcasts under your belt, you've been working in the industry for quite some time, and then a company or a certain production company, let's say, they're looking for a podcast host on a specific niche. They'll go on IMDb and search the directory and see if somebody fits their criteria, and they may contact you for that. You can get into movies, even though you've been on a podcast, you can get into movies because somebody just likes the way you talk and the way you look, and you can get a spot on a movie or something like that. And examples are plenty. You expose yourself on IMDb, and opportunities could come to you. So yeah, it is really, really important that you have a good IMDb page. And another thing is that it doesn't cost money. Now, you can have it for free. You can definitely create your profile for free, but I recommend to pay for the IMDb Pro because it allows you to add even more information on your profile, and you can control it a little bit better. And that's what I've done. And the paid version doesn't cost a lot. Now, before going forward into how to create an IMDb page, I'm just going to show you how my IMDb profile looks like, and just so you can get an idea of the benefits you get, right? So first thing first, I'm not going to go on IMDb directly. I'm going to type my name in here, and then you're going to see my IMDb page in here. Now, the way I actually got this IMDb page, it was quite unexpected. At some point, I looked at my Google profile. I typed my name to see what the Google Graph knows about me, and then I found my IMDb page already created, and I haven't created it myself. And then I realized that one of my clients that I worked for a documentary, she actually created a profile for myself. She put me there as an audio producer and sound designer for the documentary, which I did, and I was able to just claim that profile, which was easy enough for me. And once I claimed the profile, I just added the information in there, and then obviously I was able to get all the other things that I worked on listed in there, and then get my podcast listed in there as well. So first thing first, what you want to do when you get your own profile, you want to add a good bio. Once you have a good bio, Google will use this to learn more about you. And then also ChatGPT results will actually use this bio many times to actually get an idea of who you are. So for example, if you type on ChatGPT, for example, who is Bogdan Bratis, you will see results from this mini bio. You want to have something that is not long, but it's also not short. It's something that summarizes who you are as an expert or as a influencer in the space. And then obviously you can add more and more information here, like I said. So obviously another thing you can do is the link to your website. So you've got I've got two websites in here. I've got my music website, and then also Saspod, the company as well. So it is quite powerful. You can add images in here, and Google uses these images to show information on your Google knowledge panel. So if you type here Bogdan Bratis and you go to the Google knowledge panel, now at this point they are not listed here, but sometimes it may use, actually these ones are from IMDb for sure. Or no, they are from Saspod, from my own website. But you can sometimes get images from IMDb show up in results, like for example this one or this one, right? And again, you populate a lot of your information on IMDb, and that helps Google learn more about you. The Google Graph becomes larger, and you are more notable, more trusted. So let's get straight into how to create the IMDb page. This is really, really simple. So what you need to do is get on this page. I'm going to have this page as a URL. down in the description. I'm not really sure if you will be able to get to that page through that URL. I'm going to list it there. If that doesn't work, what you need to do is go on IMDb, go to menu, then go to Help Center, then for contributors, and then here you will find add a new title, and then just search for podcasts, submitting podcasts, right? And then here you're gonna find new title form. So you get on the same page that I landed on. So that's what you need to do. What you need to keep in mind with IMDb is that they want to make sure that you don't have any grammar mistakes into your bio or any titles you submit. They need to be formatted correctly. They are very particular about the way you actually going to input certain information in here. So my recommendation is read everything on that page. Every single time they give you a recommendation, read it properly and then act on it. If you don't know what you need to do, maybe Google it and you're gonna find an answer somewhere. But look, what you need to do is add the title, and I'm gonna add the pod files intentionally. See, it's already listed on the platform, and you're gonna see the issues you're gonna get into if, for example, your podcast, it's already listed on the platform and you don't want to list it twice because that's just confusing, right? But let's say we've got the pod files, it's already listed, and then I'm gonna say this is a podcast series, and then you say released and screened, available to the public. And then I'm going to say I'm the producer, director, and writer. And then I go check these updates. And every time you press on this button, you're not going to submit the actual title. What's going to happen is it will look into what's wrong or what's like if your title is ready for submission, right? And every time you click on this, more errors will pop up or more recommendations, warnings, things like that. So you might want to say 2025, and then this podcast is still ongoing, and then check these updates. Right, so as you can see, there is the pod file, so that's my own show. So you, for example, this is a warning. You don't want to add your podcast again if it's already listed, if somebody else listed it, for example. But you can, if you want to, add it as a second podcast if for whatever reason you have the exact same name as another podcast, which I would not recommend. You definitely need to do more research on your name and trademark it if possible. And then you see that you've got a numeral in there, and that's another podcast, basically. It's another entity. And then when you recheck these updates, you will see more and more information in here. So every time you press recheck updates, it's gonna ask you more and more stuff. It doesn't take that long. It's gonna take you probably half an hour to do. Once that's done, then obviously you can add more information to it later on. But the basic information you must deliver now. So there are certain mandatory information you need to put in here. Some of it is, for example, release dates, a miscellaneous link. This has to be some sort of like publication that your podcast has been part of. It's probably a good idea to do a press release for your podcast so you can have a few links you can use maybe for that, or have like a bio of your podcast, like a page for your podcast. For example, what I did here, I submitted my own profile, which is this, which I use as a hub for everything about myself as the founder of Saspod, but also a professional, right? So you might want to have a page like this before you actually attempt to send it to IMDb. And then obviously there's other things like basic identity information. You might want to provide certain proof or something. If you have a legitimate podcast and the podcast is real and is good, there shouldn't be any issues with you actually getting listed on IMDb. But if your podcast is not good enough, obviously there may be a rejection. So once you've done that, you went through the process. I'm not going to show you the entire process because everything is literally explained there. Then you're going to wait maybe an hour, maybe a few hours. For example, on mine, I think it took 3 hours, 4 hours to get accepted. And then any iteration, any change, literally it takes a few minutes. I've seen like the guys from IMDb, they do things really, really quick. Yeah, that really helps. So the more information, the better. I would say first, just claim it with the essential information, and then you can customize your profile later on. You can add a picture, you can claim your own actor profile, because what's going to happen, they will ask you here what titles you want to get in here. So for example, one title you want is maybe cast, right? So you can say 1 credit in here. So you're going to get that credit, and then you can put your own name in there, and then immediately a profile will be created for yourself. If you have a producer that works on that, you can add that as an editor. For example, let's say your producer works every day on your podcast. It would be nice for you to credit him here, and then he has an IMDb page as well. So yeah, it's really, really useful, and you can do it, and obviously it's going to give you a lot of benefits if you do that. So I hope you found this information useful. If you found it useful, subscribe to this channel, give this channel a like, because it really matters, especially to new channels, for the algorithm to discover Saspod basically on YouTube. It's really, really important. And obviously, leave a comment down below if you have any questions. I'm going to answer them promptly and hopefully help you get your own IMDb profiles listed as well. So thank you so much for watching, and I wish you an amazing day. Bye.